Hey everybody, in this video we are going to find out how deep the rabbit hole goes by categorizing music gear using the Iceberg meme method. We will put a focus on electronic musical instruments, but don't worry, there will be plenty of juicy dopamine hits for real musicians as well. Layer number 1. There is still hope. The widely visible topmost layer of the gear Iceberg is littered with humble Focusrite Scarlett setups with an affordable Arturia synth hooked up to the left and a Behringer analog mono or drum machine connected to the right input channel. A microKORG is fine too, and also stereo. Add Boss, Line 6, Zoom or Electro Harmonics FX pedals to taste and listen to all this using mid-priced headphones and or studio monitors by Yamaha, ADAM or KRK. There's always some crappy 80s or 90s gear not worth selling, and the aforementioned real musicians will rock a Gibson or Fender-shaped guitar, workstation keyboard or spouse-friendly home piano. Chances are a podcast inspired you to get a Shure microphone and you have a cheap condenser you barely use. The Dunning-Kruger effect lets you think you're deeper down the iceberg than you actually are, so a longer Reddit binge led to the acquisition of a nice vintage synth. Junos and Moogs come to mind here. Some esoteric boutique pedal, sub $1,000 teenage engineering meme gear, or a new MPC or other modern groovebox, making music production even more tedious than using a computer. Speaking of which, every commercial plugin and DAW that is still supported by the manufacturer and runs on a mainstream operating system belongs here, with one exception we will talk about in a bit. This layer is also home to 90% of all MIDI controllers, and your friends still think your launch pad looks red. At least they pretend to. Layer number 2. Completely normal obsessive behavior. The second surface layer is very similar to the first one. The main difference is the overall propensity to spend and or willingness to waste time on forums and on social media. Universal Audio Apollos and modern RMEs show the world that you work like the pros. There is, of course, a Hydrasynth or credit line friendly Waldorf, a Soma for your Instagram swag, and the hardest artistic challenge you ever had to face was to find out if you identify as an Electron or OP1 person. All this is neatly combined with a hologram microcosm. It took you half a year to find the ideal clone, and your pedal acquisition strategy is worthy of a chapter of Clausewitz. Your monitoring situation stayed mostly the same though, but you read a thread about acoustic treatment once and got yourself Austrian Audio or maybe even Audi's headphones. Guitar players either switched to PRS years ago or buy whatever their favorite YouTuber tells them to get, while being convinced the decision was a manifestation of free will. High-end amp modeling and smooth-sounding ribbon microphones might not have yet found their way into your gear locker, but live rent-free in your head, together with expensive outboard effects in 19-inch or preferably API 500 format, as we are talking about the truly addictive stuff, quite similar to the humble beginnings of your 500 module habit. Your Eurorack cravings are still firmly under control. Buying vintage gear hasn't become easier. All the classics are completely overpriced, and even second and third rate rarities have become unobtainium, so you're on the hunt for potential sleeper gear that might manifest itself as the next 303 by 2030. It goes without saying that you love to educate people on the blessings of Reaper, think your favorite niche plugin is underrated, and you're setting aside funds to get the new Osmos. As we are entering the first subsurface layer, things tend to lighten up a bit. As a regular in forum threads and gear-centric social media circles, you are getting more and more self-confident. You have chatted with countless self-proclaimed gear experts and gradually start to lose grip on reality while you slip into the icy waters of the music tech world. Layer number 3, the point of no return. You are now part of the circle of the initiated, among the chosen few who know more than the average music tech retailer employee, and therefore your tastes are very singular. You swear by a Yamaha YS200 and SY77 instead of DX100 and DX7, replaced your Minimoog with a Studio Electronics SE1. You're an expert for obscure digital synths like Evolution Synthesis EVS1 or that one Richard D. James has been trolling the music world with for a decade now, and it doesn't bother you when a synth comes in nation-dividing LG green. Fismo FS1R and Kawaii K5K are almost too conventional for you, but you embrace the feelings of power given to you by the funds of a Kurzweil K2000, hours of hypoxia-inducing Roland menu diving, and the impenetrable uniqueness of a Technics WSA1. You know exactly which transformers in Neve-style preamps are closest to the originals. Someone on Gearspace told you. Layer number 4, when the going gets weird. Just in case these oddities of yesteryear are not for you, there's a multitude of random modern hipster gear that seemingly sets you apart from your peers. I've been making fun of that for years. Here are some random examples. Feel free to leave a comment which ones of these are real instruments. Layer number 5. I know gear.
Show me.
The slow but steady descent into gear madness isn't always linked to splurging more money, but sometimes feels like escaping the matrix. Install unofficial firmware on Groovebox's old and new, revive synth classics with community-based software projects, switch to Linux, finally ditch your backup copy of Serum 1 for a clean install of Vital and circuit-bent old keyboards. However, as soon as you dabble with a headless version of Dirty Wave Mate, the vicious circle kicks into, no pun intended, high gear again. Go through a respectable team you order on your quest for the best front end, try to make it look fancy, and finally succumb to the temptation of buying an overpriced original from a scalper. Fans of DIY FX pedal kits will face similar challenges as they want to distinguish themselves from the Behringer users and become aware of premium components and vintage op-amps. Layer number 6, the pension fund. While the last layer was mostly skill-based, well-off people can charter an exclusive submersible ride to the next one where every problem can be solved by throwing money at it. They could, for example, just order a third wave Schmidt synth, recreate the setups of their favorite electronic music gods or guitar players, abandon all hope and go full-on Richard Devine on Eurorack, or get a TB3 in spite or maybe because of the social experiments of questionable online personalities. Pros: it takes up less space than collecting sports cars. Cons: other rich people will think you're a nerd. Layer number 7. It's a skill issue. Less prosperous people will have to free dive around this Mariana Trench of emptiness, go into serious debt, actually make money from all these gear investments by making music, or double down on the skill approach. Program max MSP and pure data instead of just using presets, wipe code 3D printed Raspberry Pi Sims, build a Kniff Solmu clone from scratch, and write new software for obsolete 80s computers, just to name a few examples. All this is not only comparably hard, some of it is hard and expensive. Layer number 8. The real challenge. Many musicians and enthusiasts dream of owning classic music gear, be it an original Yamaha CS80 of Blade Runner fame, a delicious sounding vintage Neve console, mid-20th century high-end outboard gear, iconic guitars, or tinnitus and back pain inducing old school tube amps. Securing the investment for this is a serious hurdle, but the real financial and organizational challenge is to keep all these antiques in a working condition so Vangelis, George Martin, Bob Clearmountain or Jimi Hendrix would have actually wanted to use them. Layer number 9. You're still a noob. You've owned every piece of gear in history, modified it, bricked it with daring experiments, roamed the wastelands of reverb, you're considered the final boss of online gear discussions, and Grammy Award winners have your number on speed dial in case they need advice. But there is yet another dimension of music technology in which you are nothing but a total noob, whatever Heinbach is using to make music. Layer number 10. The Goat Lord. I thought using loops was cheating, so I programmed my own using samples. I then thought using samples was cheating, so I recorded real drums. I then thought that programming it was cheating, so I learned to play drums for real. I then thought using bought drums was cheating, so I learned to make my own. I then thought using pre-made skins was cheating, so I killed a goat and skinned it. I then thought that was cheating too, so I grew my own goat from a baby goat. I also think that's cheating, but I'm not sure where to go from here. I haven't made any music lately with a goat farming and all. Layer number 11. Enlightenment. You did it! You've reached the bottom of the ocean, resurfaced multiple times, totally forgot about the iceberg, learned to breathe liquid the abyss style, and while having gills didn't exactly improve your dating app experience, it's kind of practical. You sold all your gear and returned to the simplicity of a Focusrite Scarlett. Life is good. Hope you liked this little video in spite of the Iceberg explained meme being out of fashion for at least 6 years now. Feel free to click one of the links below before you order stuff to support the channel at no additional cost for you. Like, subscribe and enjoy a huge library of videos, tracks, jams, sample packs and other AudioPilz and Bad Gear content over at Patreon. Thanks for watching and see you next time.